My friends, in every journey of life there are moments when the path takes unexpected turns. The most profound of these moments are often those involving the relationships we hold dear. In particular, divorce and remarriage stand as two of the most significant trials we may face. And yet, they are not merely tests of circumstance but of character. Commitment is a word we hear often, but do we truly understand its depth and power? In the context of relationships, commitment is not merely a contract, nor a fleeting promise made in moments of joy and excitement. It is the bedrock upon which lasting love is built. Commitment goes beyond mere words. It is a declaration of intent, and more importantly, a determination to weather the storms that inevitably come. When we make a vow to another person, it is not simply a declaration for the present moment, but a promise for all the moments that follow. In those moments of happiness, the commitment seems effortless, almost natural. But what of the moments that are less serene? What of the moments when the relationship is tested, when misunderstandings, disagreements, or even the dull ache of routine begin to challenge the foundation of what we have promised? Commitment, at its core, is the unwavering decision to stand by the other person, not just in the sunshine of contentment, but in the darkest of times as well. It is in these moments that commitment shows its true power. When faced with difficulty, we are often tempted to look for escape routes, to abandon our vows in favor of ease or self-preservation. But the commitment we speak of is not a fragile thing, susceptible to every passing trial. It is a strength, a muscle that must be exercised and nurtured. True commitment does not waver in the face of adversity. It digs deeper, grows stronger, and affirms the choice to stay, to persevere, to hold steady in the face of challenge. It is easy to think of commitment in the abstract, to speak of it as an ideal, but it is in the concrete actions of everyday life that the true power of commitment is revealed. It is in the small sacrifices made for the sake of the other person, the forgiveness offered in moments of hurt, and the willingness to stay when it would be easier to walk away. These actions do not come naturally to us. Our instincts often point us towards self-interest and self-preservation. But the commitment we make in love and in marriage is not a pursuit of self, but of another. It is a decision to give, not just take. This commitment is not something we are born with, nor is it something that exists by default. It is forged over time, through experience, through effort, through a deliberate choice to invest in the relationship. It is an ongoing process, a journey that requires patience, understanding, and continual reinforcement. It is easy to commit when life is easy, but true commitment reveals itself when the road becomes rocky. Commitment is not just about holding on to someone else, it is about holding on to our own values, our own sense of integrity, and our own capacity for growth. By committing to another, we learn the art of dedication, and in doing so, we become better versions of ourselves. Commitment is not a fleeting promise, it is the very essence of enduring love. Human imperfection is a reality we cannot escape, and it is perhaps one of the most crucial elements to recognize when considering relationships, especially those that end in divorce or begin anew in remarriage. We are, each of us, a mix of strengths and weaknesses, virtues and flaws. No one enters a relationship fully formed, without scars or imperfections, and yet it is precisely within this space of imperfection that true growth and understanding occur. In the heat of conflict, when the first cracks begin to show, it is tempting to see the other person as the source of the problem. It is easy to cast blame, to focus on what the other person has done or failed to do, and to forget that we, too, bring our own baggage into the relationship. Our fears, our insecurities, our past experiences all shape how we interact with those we love. When things go wrong, it is not always a reflection of a failure in one person, but of the inherent human condition itself, that we are all, in varying ways, broken and in need of healing. Recognizing this imperfection does not excuse hurtful actions or behavior, but it does provide a foundation for understanding. It allows us to see beyond the immediate pain and realize that both parties in a relationship are navigating their own struggles. This perspective can be humbling. It reminds us that love, in its truest form, requires more than just the thrill of passion or the comfort of companionship. It requires patience, forgiveness, and most of all, empathy. One of the most powerful aspects of any relationship is the ability to forgive. To forgive is not to forget, but to choose to release the hold that past wrongs have on us. In the context of divorce, this is especially important. If we carry resentment, bitterness, or anger from one relationship into another, we not only fail to heal but risk repeating the same mistakes. We must come to understand that human imperfection means we will hurt each other unintentionally and sometimes knowingly. But it also means that we are capable of growth, change, and transformation if we are willing to face our own flaws and work through them. This is not to say that imperfection should be accepted as a reason to tolerate abuse or neglect. Relationships should be rooted in respect, kindness, and understanding, but even in the most loving relationships, mistakes will be made. It is essential to see the flaws of others not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to practice compassion, to learn how to love despite differences, and to grow together through shared experiences. In the aftermath of divorce, this recognition of imperfection can be incredibly freeing. It allows us to release the weight of guilt or shame that often accompanies the end of a relationship. It teaches us that we are not failures, but learners learning how to love more fully, to understand more deeply, and to become more resilient in the face of adversity. It is through this lens that remarriage can be seen not as a perfect solution, but as another opportunity to grow, to learn, and to love once again, this time with greater awareness and maturity. Embracing human imperfection in both ourselves and others creates the space for healing and deeper connection. It is in accepting our flaws, acknowledging them, and working together to grow beyond them, that the beauty of love truly emerges. Remarriage is often viewed as a fresh start, a chance to escape the pain and disappointment of a previous relationship and to begin anew. Yet, while this may be true to some extent, it is crucial to recognize that remarriage is not merely a clean slate, it is a continuation of a journey that demands the same level of commitment, growth, and understanding as the first. The truth about second chances in marriage is that while they hold great promise, they also come with a set of challenges that must be faced with maturity and wisdom. When people enter into remarriage, there is often a sense of hope, a belief that this time things will be different, that the lessons learned from past mistakes will prevent the same errors from repeating. While this hope is essential, it must be tempered with the understanding that love is not a perfect, flawless endeavor. The mistakes of the past may not disappear simply because we've chosen a new partner. In fact, they may surface in new and unexpected ways, revealing the deeper work that still needs to be done within ourselves. What many fail to realize is that remarriage is not just about finding someone new or replacing the old, it is about bringing a renewed sense of responsibility to the relationship. It requires a willingness to build something entirely new, to enter into a partnership with open eyes and an open heart. The past, with all its triumphs and disappointments, shapes the person we are today, but it should not define the person we become tomorrow. The lessons from a previous marriage, whether they are about communication, trust, or boundaries, must be embraced not as burdens but as tools for creating a stronger, healthier union in the future. In remarriage, there is also the challenge of blending two lives together, sometimes with children, sometimes with differing family dynamics, and always with the task of learning to understand and adapt to another person's emotional landscape. It requires patience, resilience, and a deep willingness to listen, to compromise, and to meet each other where we are, not where we wish the other person to be. The ease of initial infatuation may wear off, revealing the deeper work that is required to nurture a lasting bond. One of the most important truths about remarriage is that it does not erase the need for individual growth. Many people enter into a second marriage with the hope that their new partner will fix them or fill the gaps left by the previous marriage. But this is an unrealistic expectation. While a second partner can bring love, companionship, and support, they cannot be the sole source of healing or fulfillment. True fulfillment comes from within, from the continuous work of understanding ourselves, of confronting our own fears, insecurities, and unresolved issues. When both partners are committed to their own personal growth as well as to the growth of the relationship, the marriage has the potential to be far more fulfilling than the first. Remarriage, then, is not about perfection, but about progress. It is about embracing the beauty of second chances not as an escape from the past, but as an opportunity to create something new, stronger, and more meaningful. It is a journey that requires both partners to acknowledge their flaws, to grow together, and to build a relationship founded not only on love, but on the wisdom that comes from experience. Through this process, we realize that second marriages, while challenging, can be a profound opportunity to transform ourselves and our relationships in ways that we could not have imagined before. The inner transformation that comes with both divorce and remarriage is perhaps one of the most profound yet often overlooked aspects of these life events. Too often, people focus solely on the external circumstances, the end of a marriage, the beginning of a new one, or the emotions tied to these changes, but the true work lies within. It is the inner journey, the personal evolution that occurs as we face the trials of relationships that holds the key to healing and growth. In times of conflict or emotional pain, it is natural to focus on changing the external world, hoping that the relationship, the partner, or the situation itself will transform in a way that brings relief or satisfaction. But this approach overlooks a vital truth: the most significant change that needs to occur is not in the other person but within ourselves. Divorce often forces us to confront parts of ourselves we may have long ignored or repressed. It brings to the surface our insecurities, our fears, our unhealed wounds from the past. These are not always comfortable to face, but they are essential to our growth. It is through the process of confronting these inner struggles that we begin to evolve into a stronger, more self-aware version of ourselves. In this light, divorce becomes not just the end of a chapter, but a transformative experience in which we are asked to re-evaluate our values, our beliefs, and our own sense of self-worth. This is the first step toward healing, recognizing that we are not defined by our relationships, that our worth is not contingent upon another person's actions or decisions. True healing begins when we can separate ourselves from the narrative of victimhood or failure and begin to see ourselves as individuals capable of growth, change, and renewal. Remarriage, in many ways, acts as the continuation of this process. While it offers the promise of companionship and a new beginning, it also presents the opportunity to dig deeper into ourselves. We may enter into a second marriage with the hope that it will complete us or fill the void left by the previous one. But if we fail to understand that the real work of transformation is an ongoing process within, we risk repeating the same patterns that led to previous struggles. Remarriage, like all relationships, will inevitably challenge us in ways we never imagined. And the key to overcoming these challenges lies not in changing the other person, but in continuing our own personal growth. This inner transformation also involves learning to let go of the past. When we bring old pain, unresolved conflicts, or lingering bitterness into a new relationship, we burden it with the weight of history. The most profound transformation comes when we release these old emotional weights, when we choose to forgive, not for the sake of the other person, but for our own peace. This inner freedom is what allows love to flourish. It is only when we are free from the shackles of past hurts and disappointments that we can fully embrace the present moment and the future with a new partner. The inner transformation that divorce and remarriage offer is not something that happens overnight. It is a lifelong process of self-reflection, self-awareness, and personal growth. It requires us to be honest with ourselves about our weaknesses, our fears, and our desires, and to take responsibility for our own happiness and fulfillment. When we embrace this journey of inner transformation, we not only improve our relationships, but also become better versions of ourselves, more compassionate, more patient, and more capable of love. The idea that hope can emerge from pain is one of the most profound truths we encounter in life, particularly when facing the challenges of divorce and remarriage. Often the end of a marriage feels like the loss of a dream, a painful severing of a connection that once seemed unbreakable. It is a moment that brings with it feelings of grief, doubt, and uncertainty. Yet, in these very moments of sorrow, there lies the hidden truth. Through suffering, we are given the opportunity to discover a deeper, more resilient form of hope, a hope not based on idealized perfection, but on the potential for growth, healing, and renewal. When a relationship ends, it often feels as though a part of ourselves has been lost. We mourn not only the connection to another person, but also the future we had envisioned together. This mourning, while painful, is not a sign of defeat. It is the necessary process through which we allow ourselves to grieve what was, and in doing so we create space for something new to emerge. The pain we experience during and after divorce is not an indication of the end, but rather the beginning of a new chapter, one in which we can begin to rebuild, reframe, and rediscover who we are as individuals, separate from the partnership that once defined us. The hope that arises from this pain is not a fleeting or shallow hope, but one that is rooted in reality, the reality that we have the capacity to heal, to learn, and to evolve. It is through suffering that we often gain our greatest insights. When we are forced to confront our vulnerabilities, we also have the opportunity to find strength in places we may never have explored before. This strength does not come from denying the pain, but from facing it, accepting it, and learning how to move forward in spite of it. It is the kind of hope that grows from the ashes of disappointment, much like a seed emerging from the soil after a long, harsh winter. This hope does not merely lie in the promise of a better future, but in the quiet assurance that even in our lowest moments we have the ability to rise again. The hope after divorce is the hope of self-discovery, of realizing that while relationships may end, our potential to love, to grow, and to create meaningful connections does not. It is a hope grounded in the belief that every experience, every moment of pain contributes to the person we are becoming. With each setback, we are given the chance to learn more about ourselves, our desires, our boundaries, and our capacity for resilience. In remarriage, this hope takes on a new form. It is no longer just about recovery from the past, but about embracing the future with a renewed perspective. Remarriage, in this sense, is not simply a second chance at happiness, but a continuation of the journey toward deeper understanding and connection. It carries with it the lessons of the past, but also the recognition that we have grown stronger, wiser, and more capable of building a lasting, healthy partnership. This is the hope that transforms not only the relationship but the people within it, for it is through these trials that we are invited to create something new and profound. The hope beyond pain is a quiet yet powerful force that carries us through the darkest of times. It reminds us that the end of one chapter is merely the beginning of another, and that through every challenge we have the capacity to emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable of experiencing the fullness of love and life. This hope is not naive or idealized, it is grounded in the reality of human experience and the truth that even in our greatest suffering, we are never beyond the reach of transformation and renewal. In conclusion, the journey through divorce and remarriage is not defined by the pain or the changes we face, but by the profound growth and transformation that emerge from these experiences. While the road may be difficult, it is paved with opportunities for self-discovery, healing, and deeper understanding. Through the commitment to honor our vows, the acceptance of our imperfections, the wisdom gained from second chances, the inner transformation that challenges us to become better versions of ourselves, and the hope that rises from the ashes of loss, we realize that our relationships, both past and present, are not failures, but powerful catalysts for growth. In the end, it is not the external circumstances that shape our lives, but the strength of our inner resolve, the depth of our self-awareness, and the capacity to embrace each new chapter with hope, courage, and resilience. Divorce and remarriage, rather than being periods of finality, are invitations inviting us to heal, to evolve, and to love with a deeper, more mature understanding of what it truly means to connect with another. As we face the complexities of these journeys, let us carry with us the belief that, through every trial and every triumph, the best is yet to come.